Stocks could do something that hasn't done in over 30 years, amigos. Yeah, about 30 years. Close to 30 years. This is funny. You got to read this, man. Check this out. As if the trade war never happened. Stocks could pull off a feat not seen since the late 1990s. Look at these guys. Celebrate! Celebrate! Oh, guy just... we're going to party like it's 1999. Celebrate! Just do the 90s sucked. Can we all just admit the 90s sucked? I love the 90s. The music was horrible. Some bulls on Wall Street see stocks turning another year of huge gains as the worst fears of Trump's trade war fade and the outlook on tariffs becomes more certain. So a certainty about tariffs, not the tariffs themselves. They were saying about the tariffs themselves would cause massive depression and whatnot, but it's a certainty about tariffs as opposed to the threat of tariffs. Okay, gotcha. Or as opposed to not the threat, but the actual tariffs. If the S&P 500 posts a third consecutive year with a surge of 20% or more, it would be the first time this happened since the late 1990s. But don't you know what happened after the 1990s, Josh? Oh my goodness, we all fell off, we all died, oh my goodness. What was the PE ratio of S&P 500 stocks in 1999? What's the PE ratio now? Just stop. This whole bubble thing is silly. Now, are we overpriced relative to historical earnings? Sure. I mean, I guarantee you we're overpriced relative to historical earnings. Does that mean it's a bad thing? No, I don't necessarily know. You don't know. I mean, it's the point. We're not in a bubble territory. It's just simple, that's silly to say that. You could say, hey, price to earnings ratios are too high. And they've been saying that since, for the dawn of mankind, essentially. I remember they were saying that even in the aughts, and they're like, okay, well, you just missed on the biggest bull market we've ever seen since the dawn of mankind. And as such, you're just like, we don't know. You don't know, I don't know. But the idea that market's all-time high, I must sell everything and go to cash. Dude, it's always at all-time high. I mean, not always, but you get what I'm saying. It's just the vast majority of times at all-time high because the market goes like this, up, down a little bit, up, down a little bit, up, down a little bit. If it did not expect to grow, there would be no investing market. People don't invest in things that they don't expect to grow and turn a profit from. If the stock market was perpetually south, i.e., like a roulette table where you're betting against the casino, and the casino has the odds for it, you would stop doing that. But the facts are the market, you are the casino because the market, 55% on any given day, the market will be up relative to down based on historical numbers. And you compound that day over day over day, year over year over year, next thing you know, you got a positively biased stock market, which means you're more likely to make money in stocks than lose money. It's just a fact. Doesn't mean you can't lose money. But if people did not expect to be able to make money in stocks, they would not invest in it. And the way they make money in stocks is because dividends, stock buybacks, and earnings. That's it. That's it. It's not like Bitcoin. Nothing wrong with Bitcoin, people. I don't partake in it because I don't believe in it at all. Bitcoin has no value added other than what other people value it at. And that's called the greater fool theory. All right. I'm going to buy Bitcoin because I expect someone to buy it at a higher price than I will. That's what it is. Stocks, on the other hand, you buy them because of earnings, dividends, and stock buybacks. They're actually people being employed. They're actually making money that they're giving back to shareholders either through dividends or through stock buybacks. So that's the difference between stocks and Bitcoin or any kind of crypto or any kind of thing that's based on the greater fool theory. Baseball card collection. I was just reading, I watched a lot of baseball card videos because I enjoy baseball cards. And they're like, yeah, man, I bought this box and the Upper Deck box in 1989 for $600 and now it's worth like $40 or something like that. That's speculation. That's based on someone else's greater fool. I'm going to sell this. I bought it at $600. I'm the greater fool. I'm hoping there'll be a greater fool from me and I can sell it for more than $600 later. All right, so let's keep going. So here's this idiot who says, now that the fog of war is lifting, upbeat earnings forecasts that predated Liberation Day are back. On Monday, this guy from Oppenheimer hiked his S&P 500 price target for the year from 5950 to 7100. So he was saying at the end of the year back in December, because of Trump trade war, it'd only be 5950. Now he's saying, oh, it's going to be 19% above that. And we're already halfway through the year. It's just idiotic. Anyway, check this out. You'll get a kick out of this. Here's Trump's trade war. Where he started, what he threatened, where we are. So, okay. So this is new tariffs imposed this year. That little black thing right there. So you can see for China, he's imposed a 30% tariff increase on what it previously was. Now, he threatened 145%, but he still got a 30% increase tariff imposed. So all these idiots that say, oh my goodness, that Trump's capitulating on tariffs. No, he's not. It's called negotiation, man. He said, I'm going to freaking hit you hard if you guys don't capitulate. And they capitulated him. So he said, hey, we already had a tariff on China. I'm going to increase it by 30%. So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, people are like, oh, the tariff's going to sink the ship. All of a sudden, they're like, yeah, no, Trump capitulated. It's all good. He did. He increased tariffs by 30%. You go Vietnam. Vietnam, a 10% increase in tariffs. Canada, a 25% increase in tariffs. Now, he threatened a 35%, but he got a 25%. Mexico, a 25% increase in tariffs. He threatened 30, got 25. EU, he threatened 30%. He got, what's that? Is that 20? It's 15% increase in tariffs. Japan, Taiwan, India, all these countries have an increase in tariffs. Increase in tariffs, all right? So right here, UK, 10% increase in tariffs. South Korea, 10% increase in tariffs. Yeah, he did threaten 25, but got 10%. That's capitulating? That doesn't make any sense. A new standard of 15% tariffs on foreign goods appears to be taking shape. 15% above what it was. The EU agreed to that level, as did Japan. But the outlook for many U.S. top trading partners has yet to come into clear focus. Trump has threatened to raise the tariffs on Canada to 35% from the current 25%. There's Canada. Latest agreed imposed tariffs. That's a new tariff. Trump has imposed a new tariff, and yet the market is going gangbusters. All these, I want to say in comments here. U.S. good, let's see here, hold on a sec. Business leaders on both sides of the Atlantic are breathing more easily this week after the U.S. averted a trade war with its top, it's as if we weren't in trade wars before. Trump and the EU announced a European Commission preliminary deal that puts the baseline tariffs at 15% for most European goods. Still above the current 10%, but lower than Trump's threat of 30%. Again, this is going to be, was it got EU in here? Yeah, right there. On top of this is on top of whatever it was before. It's fantastic. So you can see all this right here. Trump is freaking crushing, and the people down him. But Josh is a convicted felon. I got this guy, a friend of mine on Facebook, who's anti-Trump. He goes, "How can you support this convicted felon sex offender?" I was like, "Dude, you don't know history of the courts, dude. Jesus, you don't know history of the courts, man. Oh my goodness, you're convicted. Wow, you must be guilty. Okay. Anyway, I just this is fantastic. Like he's freaking love it, dude. This is what we need. Let's see. Explain it maybe right here. Duties collected from U.S. imports monthly. You can see going back to 2015, the duties were $3 billion in 2015. Now they're $26 billion in June. Right here. American companies have borne much of the cost so far, although some of them are planning to pass costs to consumers through increased prices. I was reading this the other day or yesterday. Some guy was saying, what did he say? I forgot what it was, but he's saying something along the lines, if they hike up the prices over here, less people buy that and they'll buy this over here, a different product. I said, that's exactly with tariffs. 100%. If they hike up the prices over here, you have a couple things. You can avoid that price, right, by buying something over there. It's just, that's why tariffs don't inherently cause inflation. In fact, the evidence of that is so negligible, it's mind-boggling. And we can just look at the price of steel back in 2017 and 18. Trump hiked the tariffs on steel. Steel prices went up for a second and then went down dramatically over the next couple of years. And you can't attribute that to COVID because COVID was still a dream in Fauci and Francis Collins' eyes at that point. So at the end of the end of the day, tariffs do a couple things. They say, hey man, steel's higher, I'm going to find a different thing to buy. Or steel's higher, I'm going to find a different way to buy it domestically, hopefully. Or steel's higher, the company's going to eat the price. Because the company says, I still got to make a profit here. So anyway, now that's not to say if you buy in tariff thing, you're not going to pay any higher price. I'm not saying that. The issue is the whole point of the tariffs is increased domestic manufacturing. So we don't rely on our economic enemies, the EU and China. I don't know why anyone can't see this, but they can't because they're so inundated. Trump bad, tariffs bad. It's silly. All right. God bless. Love your thoughts. If you haven't still been in the markets, you made a huge mistake, man. You made a huge mistake. Does that mean you jump back in now? I can't tell you that. I don't know. You don't know. But you got to let these fear mongers just pass you over because they're just idiotic. All right. God bless. We'll see you.